Well, didn't Boruto get a giant head start to showing where it's going to be going with its story? Yes, the sequel to one of the most well-known anime and mangas out there, Naruto, has its sequel about his son, Boruto, Naruto Next Generation, and a lot of us have been expecting this as we was wondering what they were going to be doing with this material, because there's a lot to go about this, and let's just immediately talk about the first minute of Boruto, because they just go off and do the straight up, the first like 3 pages of the manga, and well, as you could clearly see, shit's got real immediately. As we can see, this is a couple of years ahead of what we got from the Boruto timeline, and the fact of the matter is, from what you get to see from what was happening, you get to see Boruto like around about like 16, 17 at this time, fighting off someone known as Kawaki, and the fact that they're saying like, you know, this is the end of the generation, the fact that he's like, you know, you can't even compare to your father after I've done it, like, you know, the Hokage is dead, like, you're like, a bunch of stuff is being said where you're like, wait, what the fuck, what is happening in just 1 minute? Already getting a confirmation from this that Boruto has like this giant, like, not only is like his eye pretty much gouged out from what it looked like, he's got a giant scar on his face, he's been heavily fucked up, there's this seal all over his face, like this kind of like what he says when you've gone too far, Kawaki, as he pulls out a sword, which I think is showing also, you know, like he's got the like a whole giant cut all around like his face and alongside with his man. You get to see as well that he's got a katana as well, probably picking that up from like Sasuke, and not to mention it's just like the entire of Konoha is completely fucking wrecked. So like, it is completely smashed in, and you see this guy Kawaki has sort of the same kind of symbol around him, although he has a red one, Boruto has a blue one, and you can see why a lot of people were like, wait, what's going on? And that is exactly how the Boruto manga starts. It is so, everyone was completely hyped for it, and then I will even say this, I wish the fact that the Boruto manga started off more like this, like, although it's still kind of a little bit misleading. I don't know if the word misleading or like showing you a little thing future to come to give you a reason that like be hyped for, but the fact of the matter is like just showing those first couple of pages, it's just like, what the fuck, like, you know, okay, so it's definitely like it's there for that hook to say this is the reason why you're going to see it, and well, the main reason we've got brand new content in this first episode, all brand new, is anime only stuff, is because the manga has only just recently finished adapting its first arc, which is recapping the movie. Albeit with some changes right at the very end, it's kind of a little annoying, and I'm kind of glad because I don't want to see the movie again in the TV form. Personally, I think it's fine the way it is. But the fact of the matter is, we're probably going to have some filler content. I say that as it's going to be pretty much for the most part an anime original material until they want to adapt that stuff, and only the manga's done one chapter of the brand new original arc. So definitely with what they're setting up from this, there's a lot to talk about, and I like to say like that's a lot of like the stuff that we've had with Boruto from the start, and immediately I want to talk about kind of the little bit changes they've been doing with it. And the fact is, I actually really like kind of the color style that they're going for. They're definitely trying to make sure this is very much more bright and vibrant. After a while, I like to say the original Naruto got kind of like a lot more like kind of darker colors. It was a lot more grimy kind of like slight colors and all that. They want to show that, you know, it's brand new. Look at how pretty it is. Look at how insane the animation, as they always do in the first episode, and it looks really nice and really enjoyable. And you can tell that they really cared and wanted to put a lot of effort into like this brand new material. And the fact is that we get to see Boruto before he actually even becomes a ninja, as like the day he is about to join the academy and do the same thing as his father. And clearly you can see he doesn't give a fuck about his father. Like, Naruto is never there for him because he's a Hokage, and like unfortunately he's just tied down by paperwork. We get to see a little bit of my family, and it's very weird to feel like when you get to see a little bit more about the family and stuff, like when you get to see like how Hinata has kind of changed throughout this. Like the first episode really shows that Hinata's a lot more, she's still that same lovable like woman that, you know, you can't like Naruto fell in love with, but you can tell she's a lot more stricter, and she's not like, doesn't put up with like Boruto's bullshit. Like, I kind of appreciate that. Like, so it seems like, you know, like Hinata has definitely grown up like throughout like the entirety of it. It's like, you know, after like finally marrying Naruto and like having kids, I kind of like that about it, where she's like, she's a lot more serious. Like, she still has that sweet little shy side to her, but she's clearly like grown out of those shell. I kind of like that. We didn't get to see too many of the other characters apart from like like Shikamaru's son, who's there to pretty much keep him in line, which kind of like that because it's the same thing with like Shikamaru. Shikamaru's there as his aide for Naruto, and I kind of like that. That's what they're doing with like the father-son sort of act with there. However, like there was introducing a new character known as like Denki, who's like seemingly like he's like this son of this big popular like business, like where it's like, oh yeah, we make choices with like a huge power, like, you know, why the Ninja War one. And the fact is that his son's attending the college and he's getting like picked on because he's like, oh, I'm a nerd and I got lunch money. But one of the interesting things is like he's trying to prove his father. He's like, you know, I want to do my own things. I don't want to follow in your footsteps. Kind of like how the same way, you know, with what Naruto, you know, and Boruto's relationship is. One thing that's interesting is what they're setting up with some villain already, and it seems like we're gonna have like. Unfortunately, it kind of sounds really off as like a villain of the week sort of esque, like what's going to be happening in the next couple of episodes. And to go through like a little bit more of the fluff of like kind of the episode, basically what happens, it leads up to like from what we see Denki like getting his own back on these kids that were picking on him, decided to make two trains fucking crash into each other was his plan. Boruto and him stops it, and it seems like you can break out this weird little curse thing, and I think a lot of people are immediately pointing, since it's like, oh, it's a snake, like people are like, you know, saying that this is like something that, you know, like, oh, there's got to be Orochimaru behind this or something, and I don't think that's going to be the case on there, but maybe that might be one of his aides. Maybe, you know, we do know Orochimaru took a lot of people in. Maybe he learned some shit from Orochimaru. That might mean something where they've been setting up with it. I thought that would be an interesting thing. And the fact that only Boruto is going to be one of the only few people to see this, because guess what? He's got Hyuga bloodline in him, and you can see that he's got Byakugan, or he isn't fully aware of the Byakugan, it seems like, as well, from the future as well. He can only activate it in one eye from what it's going from, so this kind of gives him a reason like where it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense, like, because obviously you can see chakra and see what's going on, but definitely they wanted to, like, from this first episode, they want to clearly show, like, the big thing with, like, especially with Boruto, and they, like, really want to hit it on their head. Boruto is completely different from his father. He wants to show he doesn't have the same goals as him. He's a bit of an ad. Like, Boruto comes off in this episode as a really cocky prick, and that was like the whole point of the movie. He's like, he's a cocky prick, and he needs to learn. He needs to grow up, but also as well, he's a prodigy, and the fact that he does give a shit. He isn't like 110% asshole. Like, he absolutely adores his sister. Like, you know, he absolutely loves her and cherishes her. Same thing with like his mother as well. Like, he actually does care. It's just that the fact that he's just a kid that's just never had his dad around with him. And it's just like, it's kind of repeating the same cycle of like what Naruto had, whereas like Naruto really never had like any of his family around. But then again, Boruto's got way better off than what Naruto had. Like, you know, he's got the money, he's got the fame, and plus as well, even still, he's still got like a little sister there for him, and then also his mom. Even though his dad can't be there all the time, he's just trying to prove the point. And like, the fact of the matter, I enjoyed the episode. Like, I don't know, like, where it's going to go. It's definitely seems like it's going to be a lot more of a lighter comedy case, like, from what it's going, but it's going to add some action into it and some brand new characters. There's actually a new character that I even talked in the live reaction where I was like, holy shit, that guy looks cool. Like, that dude with, like, the sword, or it was like a hammer, like, he had some sort of earth weapon, and I thought, that looks kind of cool. Like, I really want to see what was his whole deal, because he seems like a really cool character design, and I want to see where it's going to be going. But other than that, that is all from me, though, everyone. Like, I actually generally enjoyed this so far, and all that, and I actually had fun with the first Boruto episode. Is it going to be anything special? I don't know. I think a lot of that's not that. We're just like, oh my god, we finally get to see those first couple of bits, you know, with Kawaki and stuff like that. But then again, we still don't know a lot about Kawaki, and we don't know the material or how long the Boruto series is going to be going on, because it's a monthly series, so in the magazine, so we don't know when we're going to be concluding these little arcs, or whether we're going to get some of this main material. It's a lot of confusion right now, so we'll have to wait and see. That's all from me, though. Thank you always for watching, and I'll see you guys, though, next time.